strengths in the IB learner profiles are caring, knowledgeable, balanced, open-minded, and communicative. One example of knowledgeable, I develop conceptual understanding and I explore knowledge using different resources. Some of my weaknesses is I can grow in risk takers, and you can bring me to new places and push me to try new things and stuff. In Mr. Title's class, we read 4 books, one for each unit, titled Wonder, The Birchbark House, and Inconvenient Truth and Change. I have grown in handwriting, and I can write more descriptive stories and add more prepositions during sentence building. I can write for a longer time than at the beginning of the year, and I can read for longer than before. A strength I brought to ELA class the first day was knowing the difference between a noun and an adjective and an adverb. And another strength I had was knowing a lot about global warming, such as the cause and the effects, and who is affected by it. And I knew about Christopher Columbus and that he was mean, but other people thought he was good, but he wasn't. And I knew about slaves and how they were treated. I learned about prepositions and how to write complete essays. I researched the Phoenicians, and I learned how to write a memoir and about the Ojibwe tribes and points of view. And my favorite thing was the story we wrote in Unit 4. I liked it because we were free to write about whoever we wanted. And during the Revolutionary War. Okay, in Ms. Harris's class, the criterion we had was, I know and understand the mathematics we learned about this year. I regularly solve problems correctly during academic challenge time. So I select the appropriate mathematics forms such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. During class time, I applied the selected mathematics using a certain technique, lattice, standard algorithm, or an area model. My strengths and weaknesses are, my strengths are addition, subtraction, multiplication, fractions, decimals, time, and converting units such as milliliters to liters or kilometers to meters. My weaknesses are long division, multiplying fractions, and multiplying decimals. My favorite thing we did this year in math was adding decimals, adding fractions, and subtracting fractions. I liked adding decimals because it was easy, and the same with adding fractions, subtracting fractions. They were both easy. My goals and how I will get there. Next year I want to work on division and subtracting decimals. I'll get there by studying hard at home and school. And I also want to work on multiplying fractions. In Mr. Moorhead's class this year, I learned how to do experiments, and I learned how to use the scientific method. We talked a lot, but I only have one example today, the Tootsie Roll experiment. And our criterion was I can investigate and design experiments. I regularly outline an appropriate problem, a research question to be tested by a scientific investigation, outlined a testable prediction using scientific reasoning, outline how to manipulate the variables, and outline how the data will be collected, and design scientific investigations.
Mr. Cat, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up fighting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me? I'm fine.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why, he never made it without fighting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question.
experiment. We made a hypothesis and collected data during the Tootsie Pop experiment. And we made conclusions with our data. I licked the Tootsie Pop and it took over 800 licks. The hypothesis was how many licks or sucks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop and which one would take longer. And the conclusion was it is easier to suck the Tootsie Pop than to lick it because otherwise it will take a long time. This year we learned about lots of things, but I'm only talking about the triangles of trait. The criterion was I can think critically about social studies. I regularly identify the main points of ideas, events, visual representation, or arguments. Use information to give an opinion. Identify and analyze a range of sources/data in terms of origin and purpose. Identify different views and their implications. The sugar goes to England, the rum goes to Africa, and slaves go to the Americas. And it's in the triangle, because that's why it's called the triangle. Because they would trade the slaves to the Americas, or no, they would trade the sugar to New England, and they would trade the rum and goods to Africa, and the slaves to the Americas, and that's how they got it. In exhibition, I'm researching police brutality. In my opinion, police brutality is horrible. It is when police, on or off duty, injure or kill innocent people. Police brutality needs to be stopped. Police brutality is more than mean, it is horrible. I chose police brutality because I heard about it all over the news. I didn't understand it at first, but I eventually did. I thought it was horrible, and I said to myself, wow, this stuff is horrible. We need to find a way to stop it. That's why I chose police brutality. I'm going to find answers to my questions on computer and in books. I will find reliable resources such as nonfiction books and .govs, .edus, etc. I will use websites created by victims of police brutality and police. In Spanish, I can use language. The criterion was I can use language in spoken and written form. I can write and speak using a basic range of vocabulary, grammatical structures, and conventions. When speaking, use clear pronunciation and intonation. Organize information and ideas, and use a range of basic cohesive devices. Use language to suit content. I use language in written form during the pen pal letters, and I use language in spoken form during the mixed share, and I have my first draft of the pen pal letter.